Hey, welcome to the Manifold channel. Today we're going to look at the new style panel Quickstart for lines. Let's look at how we can use new style features to create wonderful and cool lines. We're looking at a blank manifold drawing here, and we've specified that the background should be a dark gray, and we're going to create some points: 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, and 4 points. Add record, and there they are, and plain default formatting. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create some lines. And I'm going to since snapping is on by default, I'll create a line from this point to that point, save changes, and then from this point to that point, save changes, and then create a line from this point to that point, save changes. Great. Let's put the cursor back into default mode, and now let's go into style. In the style panel, we can see how we can change things here. For example, the points, change the fill color for points. Right here are the properties for points, style properties for points. Here are the style properties for lines. Here are the style properties for areas. We don't have any areas in this drawing, but we still show the style properties for them, so we can change them if we like, so that should we create areas in the future, they'll automatically be drawn using those style properties. Now, the way the style panel works is that these controls here on the right are individual controls. For example, the stroke color here, the fill color, the size, the rotation, and the symbol. Likewise for lines, here's the size for the lines. We can change it from 1 point to 2 points, and that'll make the lines 2 points thick. Let's make those 4 points. Now they're 4 points thick. And here is the symbol control for the lines. Here's the fill color, and here's the stroke color. What we're going to do is we're going to use this button here, which is the total color for lines, because that provides all these controls and enables us to change them all at once. So let's click on that. We're going to change the style for lines. We can choose one of these pre-built styles, and there's very, very many of them. Or we can click more to get the style dialog for lines. As you can see, there's a variety of tabs here which specify the different things we can do to change the style of lines. This is the basic symbol tab. This is any symbol at the beginning, any symbol at the end, left accessory line or the right accessory line. What we're going to do is we're going to add a symbol to the end of the line like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a arrowhead. When we check the end box here, it will automatically put whatever symbol we choose at the end of that line, and we can make that whatever size we want. We can make that, for example, 40 points in size, which is kind of big. Let's use this arrowhead, and we can change the width of the arrowhead, which sets the proportion of the arrowhead, and let's make the width about 40%. Now, I think I prefer 30%. Let's make it 30%. There, that's a sharper looking arrow. And to change the fill color for the arrow, for the end symbol, we can change the fill color to red. So now we're using red for the fill color and black for the stroke color. The stroke color we can make whatever color we want for that end of the line, arrow end of the line, but let's leave it at black to keep this from getting too complicated. And we can change the stroke for that as well. For example, if we want a really fat box, we can change the stroke to 2 or 3 or 3 or whatever. And if we like, if we don't want to set the size of this symbol to some specific value, such as 40 points, we can set it to some percentage of whatever this main value is. So if the line is 4 points, we can set this to being, say, 1000%, which is the same as 40 points, because 10 times 4 is 40, or 1200%. Make it a little bit bigger. Now, why would we want to use a percent value instead of a fixed value? That's so that if we change this value here to something else, to say 7 points, the arrowhead scales automatically, so it's exactly the same proportion in relation to the thickness of the line. So experienced manifold people will often use percentage values instead of point values. Just so we can make the stroke here, say 5%, or let's change that to make it closer to, say, 3%. To make that 3%. You actually have to type that accurately. There. So if we click OK at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to end up putting an arrowhead at the end of the lines here. So let's click OK, and each line now is terminated with an arrowhead symbol. Why have we left the point symbols on? So you can see where the symbol is related to the point. So for example, the arrowhead, the point of the arrowhead terminates exactly at the point which is at the end of the line. If we used a different symbol, for example, as an end symbol here instead of the arrowhead. Say we use this triangle symbol. Let's click on triangle. And now let's click OK. You can see that the triangle symbol also appears at the end of the line, but it's centered on the end of the line. So you can see where that triangle goes. If we want the line to terminate with an arrowhead at the end, instead of using a triangle symbol, we should use the arrowhead symbol. Let's go back and set that to the arrowhead symbol as well, right there. The preview, by the way, shows everything here that's going on. And if we want to see exactly where this terminates, we can temporarily turn off the points with this trick by using transparent value for the stroke color. You can see how the end of this line terminates exactly where the next line begins. Let's turn those points back on. Great. Now let's see what we can do about putting a symbol at the beginning of a line. Again, I'll click Total Style for the lines. I'll check More to call up the whole dialog. And here at the beginning, if I like, I can click Beginning. And now whatever symbol we choose will be drawn at the beginning of the line. So let's choose something like, say, okay, a pentagon symbol. Well, let's make that bigger. Let's make that 300%. So that's about 3 times the thickness of the line. So if the line is 4 points, this symbol is going to end up being 12 points. Actually, let's make it 400%. Let's make it just a little bit bigger than that. There we go. And let's change the fill color to something interesting. Let's make it this color right there. That looks pretty cool. Click OK. And now what we've added is a symbol to the beginning of the line. This line here, actually, both lines have a symbol, and you can see that's sort of outlined slightly where you can see the lower symbol is on top of the other one. If you're going to do things like start lines at the same place, it makes sense to use a symmetric symbol so that you don't get that sort of effect as the two symbols are rotated one on top of the other. And I'll turn off points here so you can see what they look like. See this, how those two symbols are one on top of the other. Let's put the points back on, click the points back on. And now let's talk about how we can format the actual symbol that we use for the line body itself. Click back here into Total Style. We have a lot of choices that we can do here. If we like, we can make this line itself, we can choose repeating symbols. For example, these triangles or these diamonds. Let's use diamonds. And for those diamonds, let's use a fill color of something. Let's use red for the fill color as well to match the red of the arrowhead. And we can set the, using this nomenclature, we can set the size of the symbol and the space between them. We're saying make the symbol 5 points and make the space between it 5 points also. If we like, we can change that to make the symbol 8 points, still leaving the space between them 5 points. Or we can even make it 10 points for an effect like that. Click OK. And you can see what we've done is we've changed the line style so it's this repeating symbol pattern. Let's go back to using a simpler symbology. Let's use a full line, and let's use dashes and dots. Let's use a line which is where the dashes are 5 points in length, followed by a space that's 5 points in length, which produces effects somewhat like that. Click that and you can see there's the dashes and dots. If we want to fill the color in between those dashes and dots, we can turn on a halo. And let's use a white halo color, like that. And what we're going to do is the padding for the halo sets how wide the halo is relative to the thickness of the line. So if the padding is, say, 5, that makes for a very thick halo. That makes it 5 points on either side. If we put it just 1, that makes the halo thinner. If we put the padding 0.01, then the halo doesn't expand beyond the thickness of the line, so it just fills in those dashes in between the lines, and we get that kind of an effect like that. Let's see what we can do with adding accessory lines to the left and right. Oh, and let's take a look at the dash caps. If you use a dash cap flat, you have this kind of hard flat there. If we change it to round, you get that sort of effect. If you change it, and let's make these guys longer, let's make that 10. If we make that triangle, it makes the points, it makes the ends of these pointy triangles. Click OK, and you can see how that works. That makes the ends of the dashes those pointy triangles. I like to use round. I don't know why, but I think it makes for a nice smooth effect. If you want classic dashes and dots, of course, you're going to use the flat style. Let's get rid of all those to make that a solid line. And now let's use accessory lines. If you like, you can put accessory lines to the left and to the right. update this style. Oh boy. That's what I get for clicking this. Let's make that 4 points. And I clicked one of the presets. Let's restore that back to where it was. Let's make the end line another arrow, and let's make that red, and let's make this, what was that we used? 1000%, and this is 40%. Great. And as I recall, we used this guy right here. Let's use a hexagon for the beginning of the line. You have to click beginning, and let's make that 400%. And let's use this color there. There, we've restored the line to what it was before I clicked one of the presets. Click OK. And now we're back to where we were. Alright, let's click on More here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to mess with the left and right side. So on the left, let's add a left line. And what we're going to do is the padding where this thing starts is right here, the left and right offset. So if the left and right offset is 3, and this thing is 3 points in size, you get something that kind of looks like that. It shows you where it is. Let's use dashes and dots. Let's use 5 and 5 to make that a dashed and dotted line. And click OK. And what we've just added is an accessory line here to the left. Let's create an accessory line to the right. Click there and click on More again. And now to the right, let's use a different effect. What we're going to do is we're going to use let's make that 5, thickness of 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tricky thing here. I'm going to make a dash of 1 followed by a space of 2. And what we've done is we've created a very short dash and a very with a space between it, which makes the dash and dot line appear to be horizontal lines that stick out like that. If we want to add a halo behind that to make those stand out even more, we can do that. So that's on the right side. We can add a halo. Let's add a halo of white, and we make the halo 0.01. Let's make this a little bit smaller in size. Like that. Let's make it 3. There we go. So that gives that effect there. As you can see, there's an incredible wealth of effects that you can create using the various line style options. You can just go absolutely nuts with this stuff. Let's turn off the points here. And pretty much whatever effect that you want, you can create with lines. They all apply automatically. They're very fast. This has all been designed so that it's unbelievably fast. You can have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lines, and they all will render extremely rapidly, despite having all these very complicated effects that are possible. I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at a style panel for lines. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from Manifold Land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.